I'm finally on an MCI D4500CL on my way to Manhattan. And let me tell you, this trip is completely and 100% for YouTube. Why do I say that? On this particular morning, I decided to drive from my neighborhood all the way to the Eltonville Transit Center because parking is free. Well, anyway, this morning I wanted to take the SIM10. But at the same time, I also wanted to take a CL because according to what my friend from Charleston told me, if you go all the way to the transit center, you got a greater chance of taking a D4500CL. And he was right. Well, I walked away from the stop where the SIM10 was for a brief moment. And just when I turned around because there was another CL that was already there, but possibly on a different route, one CL on the SIM10 came right by, and I tried to run to catch it, but I missed it. But for context, two more Prevosts on the SIM10 came by, but I was like, I didn't want to take a Prevost that morning. I wanted to take a D4500CL because around the time the CLs were going to retire in favor of the blue Prevosts that were coming. Anyway, that's why I'm taking the SIM10. By the way, from what Techno7843 told me, I believe that more of the 3000 CLs from Yonkers and possibly other depots are coming to Charleston temporarily now that the MTA will take a complete control over the SIM23 and SIM24 from Academy Bus. By the way, I told the driver of 4327 that morning that I actually skipped a few Prevosts only to take an older MCI, and he didn't care. But he was nice though. Anyway, I have nothing against the Prevost X345 commuter. Many of you know that I feel that the Prevost X345 commuter are the best buses that the MTA currently has right now. And it's not to discredit against MCI because MCI has created some decent buses over the years. From the D series to the J series, they've created some really nice, really cool buses. For instance, I cannot see New Jersey Transit with the Prevost X345 commuter. Nothing against New Jersey Transit though. Yet, due to their circumstances, I think they're much better off for right now with the last of the MCI D4500CT. For right now, the Prevost X345 commuter is only available in diesel. In contrast, the D4500CT is available in diesel, clean diesel, hybrid, and CNG. The newer D45 CRT and CRT LE, it's for right now available in diesel and electric, but soon it will also be available in clean diesel, CNG, and I believe fuel cell buses may be coming soon. Now, around the time I started recording for this video, I did come across an article on the Prevost website mentioning how they're testing a new facility, the Volvo group that is, to eventually have Prevost buses that will be electric, fuel cell, and possibly CNG too. And when I saw that, I got really happy, to be honest. And the reason why I got happy is because of another contrast between MCI and Prevost. Namely, there are more customization options available to MCI buses than there are to Prevost buses. For instance, one advantage of the MCI D45 CRT, CRT-LE, and might I add the D4520 because it has basically a similar appearance, is the fact that there's the option of having a back window at the bus. Now, on a Prevost X345 commuter or just a regular X345 like what Greyhound has, there's no option for a back window. Might I add, with the low entry vestibule of the D45 CRT-LE, now The advantage of having that particular bus is the fact that for commuter routes where there are predominantly probably disabled passengers and everything, there's the advantage of having a low entry vestibule for faster boarding. Additionally, when the MTA tested the MCI D4500CRT a few years back, there was also faster disembarking because there were two doors. The disadvantage is honestly from the exterior, from outside the CRTLE, is that honestly the windows look ugly in my opinion. Yet this is not to discourage any bus company from acquiring the CRTLE because again, if you have routes where there are more passengers that may require some assistance with boarding and disembarking the bus, I would definitely commend that particular bus in particular. Yet even though MCI wins with customization options for a fleet, I definitely gotta give Prevost a win for when it comes to the lavatory. Now why do I say that? If you download the specifications of any MCI motor coach or commuter coach, it reads that their lavatories come with no sinks. Mind you, in contrast, a few years ago, Prevost, who also follow me on Twitter by the way, they told me that if a customer wants sinks available in their lavatories on their buses, they add sinks as an option. Now that's one thing that I must commend Prevost for. Altogether, with regards to MCI and Prevost, if I was to choose which one is better, I say neither because it depends on the circumstances of a bus company. Like, if you want buses that probably have somewhat of a really professional appearance, and let's say you want a lavatory with sinks, then I would choose Prevost. Now, if you want buses that have more customization options or better fueling options, and let's say you want a back window, then I would choose MCI. Now, regarding the professional appearance, now don't get me wrong, the MCI J4500 and J3500 both look very, very professional, to be honest. Basically, both companies have created some really nice buses, and again, I cannot wait until Prevost starts to have more fueling options, because for right now, that's an advantage that MCI has over Prevost. Namely, because there are more fueling options available for MCI buses than Prevost. Right now, MCI has more customers. But then again, it's basically the same way with the debate between Nova Bus and New Flyer. How there are more Excelsiors on the road than LFS buses. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. We're getting close to the battery tunnel and I'm about to go on the FDR drive. So one thing I wanted to mention is the idea of the ideal bus system. Now, I don't mean by having all emission-free buses, because even if the MTA was to replace all their buses right now with electric buses or possibly fuel cell buses, there would still be problems, mainly because of many of the routes. Now, I'm sure that I'm one of many that have given the MTA many suggestions on an ideal bus route to serve like one or many communities. Like, I know one of my suggestions is the idea of a SIM33X, which is the idea of a direct non-stop service to go between Mariners Harbor and Greenwich Village. And I'm sure many other ideas came into fruition. Well, the truth is, the best bus route or the perfect bus route is really no bus route when you think about it. Yet one thing I prefer about buses over trains is the fact that they are more flexible and can easily change and adapt to changing circumstances. Now, I must commend the MTA in recent years for instituting a series of bus stop signs that show a bus route and how long it takes before the next bus arrives. The problem is the routes themselves seem like they're fixed, and over time circumstance could change. Maybe a certain street could be more congested, or a route that was fast at one point could be slower now because of increasing traffic in one location. So if we could just have nothing but bus stop signs that that are completely digital, it can invite different changes and flexibility, maybe suggestions from bus drivers and passengers, and each route could be evaluated on an annual or perhaps a biannual basis to see if a route could change to be like more direct. Different bus stops could be changed, or probably get rid of a route altogether. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. Now, why is this adventure being called the Crazy 7 Train Saga? Well, this day that I went to Manhattan, I was able to go to all the places that I planned to go that day. The only problem was there was something that occurred on the 7 train line that day where there were no 7 trains going from Manhattan to Queens or Queens to Manhattan. So that day I had to start by going to the Javits Center, then to Queens, and then finally make my way back in probably one of the craziest adventures. In fact, when I came home that day, my feet were hurting so bad that I didn't even go to work the next day. It's just funny how earlier this year I have said that I've yet to take the 7 train. Now I could officially say that I've taken it 4 times. 3 times was from this one particular day. And I'm not done with taking the 7 train because I plan to bus fan by Flushing Meadows and probably Citi Field. Either way, what are your thoughts on this video? Tell me in the comments, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, follow me on social media where I talk about similar topics.